It's Emancipation Weekend. Tomorrow is the anniversary of this pivotal moment in Jamaica's history. But as it's a Sunday, the national holiday will be observed on Monday. Our leaders will address you then on the importance of freedom and what we do with it. Today we're revisiting the emancipation story. Hi there, I'm Theodore Henry, your host for this Saturday edition of Jamaica Magazine.
Do you own land and need a title? Well, the National Land Agency NLA can help. Through the systematic land registration process, the NLA will assist residents to get titles in declared project areas across Jamaica. Systematic land registration is the methodical and orderly registration of parcels of land in a designated area known as systematic adjudication area. For further information on the systematic land registration process, including declared systematic adjudication areas, who can apply and the benefits, visit the National Land Agency's website at www.nla.gov.jm or email asknla@nla.gov.jm. The National Land Agency, one goal.
Wards of the state at the Mount Olivet Home for Boys are getting a new building to call home. It's the result of several charitable donations, and the JIS team witnessed the final stages of its completion recently. Let's see what's taking shape for the boys in Walderston, Manchester.
Within a span of just about 3 years, the Mount Olivet Boys' Home in the cool hills of Walderston, Manchester underwent a stunning transformation, from a near 200-year-old lodging to a modern architectural charm. This eye-catching edifice is the kind of house within which any family would make a home. The newly built residential care facility for children who are wards of the state represents a significant push towards a world-class childcare sector. It is creating the environment to ensure that the needs of children are met, even when they cannot live with their own families. A caring atmosphere that allows the children to grow and develop their self-confidence and self-esteem through positive experiences. It's not just about shelter, clothes, and food, but also educational and career mentorship, as well as space for play and leisure. The new building comes as a gift from Olympic track star Johan Blake's Why Be Afraid Foundation in partnership with other individuals and organizations. Among them, Redgrave Luxury in the UK, Richard Mille Japan, and the Sandals Foundation. The Why Be Afraid Foundation has been involved with Mount Olivet since it was introduced to the home by the Jamaica Information Service JIS several years ago. In 2009, the JIS adopted the Mount Olivet Boys' Home, and the facility remains the agency's main corporate social responsibility project. Following several visits to the home to perform various charitable deeds, the idea emerged among the philanthropists and operators of the facility to create this new dwelling to foster happy and inspired children.
This is going to revolutionize the way how we care for boys at Mount Olivet and in Jamaica on a whole. This new building is going to provide a level of care that have not been seen in Jamaica for a very long time.
Even while periodic paint work was carried out on the old living quarters, these upgrades remained inadequate for the safety, security, and general well-being of the boys.
That old building is difficult to maintain. We're talking about plumbing works, the painting works, the kitchen area. It's just an old building. That was the old church house for the pastor, and it's probably as old as the church, and the church is over 185 years.
Repairs would have been so extensive that the Why Be Afraid Foundation and its partners thought it would not have been practical. And so, the decision was made to design and build a modern, exciting, and inspiring space. A young architect, Jerome Pusey, was engaged for the design, and the construction commenced in November 2019. The COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 made the work extremely challenging, but the local contractor on the project, Pavcon Construction Company, was up to the task, ensuring the boys would be sleeping in their new accommodation by the summer of 2021. Both the old and new dormitories have a capacity for accommodating close to 50 boys, ages 6 to 18 years old. With its bright yellow front door, the new home welcomes the boys to 2 wings, one housing their living space, which towers over 3 floors. The ground floor is for boys up to age 9, with those 10 to 13 years old on the 2nd floor, and the top floor reserved for boys from age 14 to 17.
There is enough space for everyone. As you have seen just now, there's 3 levels. The smaller one will be at the bottom. And just in case we have somebody who is physically challenged, they will stay on the ground floor. And there's space on the 2nd and the 3rd floor.
The other wing of the facility accommodates the working functions of the home. The kitchen, cafeteria, and laundry are on the ground floor. Up a level, and there's a fully functioning computer lab for the boys. There's also a gaming and music room, outdoor balcony, space for visitors, and a kitchen in that space. On the outside is an extensive playground for the boys, with artificial turf, football field, and stages for performing.
We are going to have to do some orientation of both boys and staff as to what we expect, and we have to have a new concept as to how we treat our boys and how we care for boys in a holistic way. Moving into this new space is going to be a whole lot different in terms of to maintain and just a more comfortable space for the boys to live in. The good thing is that the Why Be Afraid Foundation is going to assist us with the maintenance for the first couple of years. So they are now looking at maintenance services to come in at least once per month to help us with the maintenance, and we will have our local persons here at the home whose duty and job will be specifically to maintain the building.
The old buildings will be retrofitted and converted into a halfway house or transitional pre-independent living facility for those boys who have aged out of the state's childcare system.
We still have boys who are in rented facility that the transitional living program is paying those rent off premises, but this building now will house them, and we're looking at staffing for that building. So we will have space for those boys.
Some of that space will also be used to construct a Heart NSTA Trust certified skills training center.
There's the Sandal Foundation who have shown some interest that we are going to set up a woodwork shop and a welding area. So those boys who are inclined will have an opportunity to learn a skill there in woodwork or welding. And that space will also be open to the general public.
The Jamaica Information Service staff, along with partnering sponsors, continue to support the home's other needs on routine treks to the facility yearly. The JIS makes 3 visits to the home in April, August, and December. On these trips, the agency also incorporates a sports day, career day, back to school, mentorship, and birthday celebration, as well as annual Christmas luncheon and award ceremony. Agency CEO Donna Marie Rowe sees this corporate sponsor initiative as a winning tool to encourage and inspire the children in their care.
As an agency, we felt that it was necessary to become involved in our community. And corporate social responsibility is very key to all of us here as a core value. And usually we talk about giving back and paying it forward.
4 years after the apprenticeship system ushered in the end of slavery on a very limited basis, enslaved people in Jamaica received their unrestricted freedom on August 1, 1838. It marked the end of an inhumane system that kept people as mere property of others, who unleashed the tyranny of forced labor and other acts of cruelty upon the enslaved. As the anniversary of that date approaches, we now examine what took place on the road to full emancipation.
Chattel slavery had come to an end. Men, women, and children had learned they'd been freed from the evils of oppression. A system described in history as one of the most brutal, slavery. For centuries, one race of people, the black, was treated less than human, merely the property of another.
From the perspective of those who experienced it, it was a brutal system, it was exploitative, it denied people their freedom, and I think we can say it was a crime against humanity, something that was totally immoral.
But why did this evil live on for as long as it did? Clearly, there is evidence of greed for money, great wealth, and power in all its facets.
From the point of view of the enslavers, it was a profitable system. They saw enslaved peoples as sinews of empire, as cheap labor.
When slavery was introduced in Jamaica in the 15th century, it was considered a necessary evil to achieve progress. But progress for whom?
All Europe became industrialized and developed as a result of the labor of our ancestors, because they reaped benefits. Some individuals and chiefs, that the chiefs and some states in Africa, I think that some of them benefited. The investors would have benefited. Even the royal family benefited from slavery because they were investors. MPs and Lord Mayors. In the case of the British colonized Caribbean, since we're talking about Jamaica, we're talking about England, people in England. Banks, insurance companies like Lloyd's of London.
The enslaved cunningly rebelled, and at times with much fury. Still, countless lives were lost and many severely beaten as punishment.
From Hanover, John Allen from Shettlewood Pen, who got 100 lashes. Patrick Allen from Trial Estate, who got 200 lashes. And two women, Catherine Brown and Catherine Clark, who also got 50 lashes each. So it was brutal.
Rigid slave laws empowered the white slave-owning class, and so the barbaric treatment to men of color, not considered free and equal, continued. Fractions of the religious sect uttered disapproval and campaigned for abolition. But slaves, assisted by the Maroons, charted the course to their own freedom. Victory was hard won and came only after countless vicious revolts staged across the island, the most famous, the 1831 War.
They wanted to be able to live their lives as free citizens, and they wanted justice, and they wanted to be treated and given the rights of citizenship, including a fair equality before the law.
Sugar, the reservoir of wealth, was shaken and on the decline. And in 1833, a proposal previously pushed came once again before the British Parliament for the abolition of slavery. On August 1, 1834, all slaves in the British West Indies were declared free, but still under an apprenticeship system.
But the apprentices declared that nothing but freedom would satisfy them. So the system was chipped away, the apprentices chipped away at the system. Anti-slavery activists stepped up their campaign, and so the system ended prematurely in 1838.
And ushered in full freedom, and with it, the right of persons of African descent to determine their destinies. Slavery, with its trademark of human cruelty and deception, was for the most part defeated. Righteousness and justice had prevailed, and the faith and hope of a free people live on today.
In our HealthWise segment today, we examine the essential nutrients for our bodies to grow, develop, and function properly.
Eating healthy by having a balanced diet consisting of items from all the food groups and consuming the right portions is important to get the nutrients vital for disease prevention, growth, and good health. Essential nutrients are building blocks for the cells that make up the body, from bone to muscle, skin, and hair. One of the most critical ones is protein, which is made up of different amino acids, some of which the body can make on its own. We need a variety of proteins to function properly, many of which can only come from the foods we eat. Meats, fish, and eggs are essential sources from animals, while plant sources include beans, nuts, and some grains. How much protein you need daily depends on a variety of factors, including how active you are and your age. Carbohydrates are the main nutrients for fueling the body's energy needs, especially our central nervous system and brain. They help protect against diseases, but some carbohydrates are healthier than others. Some healthy sources include your fresh produce, such as yam, banana, breadfruit, and tubers, as well as whole grains, fiber-rich vegetables, and fruits. Less healthy sources include refined grains and products with added sugar. Fats often get a bad rap, but it's important to know that healthy fats are essential to our body's function. Fats aid in vitamin and mineral absorption, blood clotting, building cells, and muscle movement. Fats are high in calories, which is a measure of energy from foods, but the World Health Organization recommends keeping daily calorie intake from fat at under 30%. Including healthy fats, which are the unsaturated fats in your diet, can help balance blood sugar, decrease the risk of heart disease and type 2 diabetes, and improve brain function. Healthy fats are also powerful anti-inflammatories and can lower the risk for arthritis, cancer, and Alzheimer's disease. Some of the well-known unsaturated fats are the omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. Sources of these healthy fats include fish, seeds, nuts, and vegetable oils, olive, avocado, and flax seeds. Trans fats are to be avoided, and we should also limit our intake of saturated fats, of which the main sources are animal-based and include butter, cheese, red meat, and ice cream. Vitamins are organic compounds essential for normal growth and are required in small quantities. There are 13 essential vitamins that the body needs, and these help lower the risk of diseases such as lung and prostate cancer. Vitamin A supports healthy vision, skin, and bones. Powerful antioxidants like vitamin C boost the immune system and helps the body heal. Eating a varied and well-balanced diet of fruits and vegetables should supply the body with the required vitamins. Minerals are also important nutrients needed for building strong bones and teeth. They help with regulating our body's metabolism and keeping us properly hydrated. The mineral calcium strengthens bones and teeth and helps with nerve signal transmission. It also helps to maintain healthy blood pressure and with muscle contraction and relaxation. Iron supports red blood cells and hormone creation, while the mineral zinc boosts the immune system and wound healing. The body also needs water, which improves brain function and mood, and acts as a shock absorber and lubricant in the body. Water also flushes our toxins, carries nutrients to cells, hydrates the body, and prevents constipation. Even mild dehydration can make us feel tired and impair concentration and physical performance. In addition to drinking water, we can hydrate ourselves by eating fruits and vegetables such as spinach and watermelon. Start treating your body right. As you grab your next meal, make sure you're getting all the nutrients needed in their right proportion.
In the fight to end slavery, Jamaica's national heroine, Nanny of the Maroons, was a significant force in arranging and leading battles against the colonizers. As we continue to mark this period in our history, let's learn about her life and contribution to nationhood and freedom of enslaved Africans in Jamaica.
Today, Moortown and other communities in the Blue and John Crow Mountains of northeastern Jamaica stand as permanent reminders of the bravery and fortitude of the island's only female national hero, Nanny of the Maroons. Nani was among a group of brave enslaved men and women who dared to resist their master's rule by running away. These runaway slaves formed communities in the hilly interior of the island and fiercely protected them from the Spanish and later the British. After decades of warfare, the British finally yielded by recognizing the Maroons as an independent people with the signing of a treaty in 1739. The autonomy of the Windward Maroons is largely due to Nanny's tenacity as a revolutionary chiefess. Most of what we know about Maroon leaders, including Nanny, has been passed down through oral history, but that hasn't diluted her prominence in Jamaican folklore. According to stories, Nanny came to Jamaica as a slave from the Ashanti tribe of the Akan region of West Africa. It is said that she, along with her brothers Akompo, Kojo, Johnny, Coffee, and Kwaho, ran away from a St. Thomas plantation, settling in the mountains of Portland. Nanny remained in the Blue Mountains while her brothers branched out into other mountainous regions on the western end of the island. Popularly known as Nanny Town, Tony River, as the Maroons called it, was led by Nanny. Nanny's community was well organized, with its members surviving on animals raised and hunted, as well as crops grown and raided from plantations. Security came in the form of the location of the community high in the Blue Mountains, weapons seized in raids, and traditional African weapons of bow, arrows, and spears. Tony River was destroyed in one of the many fights between the Maroons and the British, causing Nanny to move her community deeper into the hills to what is now present-day Moortown.
Oh, me remember now. But you see, this part of the story, I hear it time and time again. But what I'm curious about though is what kind of woman she was. I mean, like, with all the fighting to maintain freedom, a family. Did she have any husband?
Yes, man. Nanny was a woman for all seasons. From the stories me hear, she didn't marry a man named Ado, but them never have any children. That no means that she never married any children, you know. She was mommy Nanny, granny Nanny. She helped raise most of the children in Tony River.
Innit?
Nanny was our mother. She was our queen, she was our priestess, and she was our chieftainess. Because she operated in all four roles, right? She was mother for the entire community. She was royal, she was regal, right? She was a queen. In terms of the spiritual ways of the community, in the guiding of the community, she was that person who would would take on that role for the community. She was a military strategist for the community as well, so therefore she was a chiefess. Any leader of any ilk or any quality generally rules with two gloves, two separate pair of gloves. One is a cotton glove and one is a iron glove. And you have the cotton glove on, and then you have the iron one, and you put the cotton one over it.
And Queen Nanny did just that, making a community out of different African tribes with kindness and compassion. But she was also a stern leader, dealing with dissent while making tough decisions. Nanny was not only the political and military leader of her tribe, she also served as spiritual leader. Before Nanny and the Maroon warriors would go off to battle the British, she would prepare them for ambushes, the popular style of Maroon combat.
Warriors would be trained, and everybody would be given a cut, and they would send to a special pool in the river, right? Where they could go and dip in the water. And if you come back out and your cut is not well, then you don't go to fight. But anybody who dip and come back out and their cut was well, then they can go into fight. There are times when it required a consultation with the jege, and if you consult the jege and the jege tell you can't go, then you don't go to fight. You do a lot of things, and that was going on the responsibility.
Always looking out for the well-being of her fellow Africans, Granny Nanny rescued slaves from the plantations on the plains. It's often said that after the Maroons signed the treaty with the British, they began to turn back runaway slaves, or even captured them for the British.
The fact is that the Maroons would have taken in more persons than they would have returned. 200 years ago, 275 years ago, it had much more vegetation than now. It was much more covered, and more people could have come and stay in the community undetected by the authorities. The authorities had 2 white superintendents who were supposed to reside with the Maroons, and most of the time the Maroons make life for them rough, so that they had to leave. So many of the time they never really have the white superintendent living with them, so they could take in anybody that they want. The Maroons would have deliberately gone to the plantation and take away slaves from the plantation.
What about her death though? Like, how did she die?
Well, the British want people to believe that them loyal slave copy did kill her in the war. But the Maroons themselves Nanny lived long after the war ended. She buried in a bump grave in Moortown.
Her legacy. Talk to me about her legacy. Legacy.
Today, Maroon communities such as Moortown is warrior spirit and Maroon heritage alive.
We like Jamaica to know that the generation is still here, and we're still keeping the things together. We dance, so Jamaica can just keep on, come and who want to can come and visit the community, and we're here, to take you on the tours wherever you want to go. You want to go to Nani Falls, you want to sit and reason about Nani. We're still here. It's not like the culture dead out or anything like that.
This is where we end another wonderful journey through the pages of Jamaica Magazine. We value your company, so be sure to join us again tomorrow for another show. Until then, continue to watch these and other programs by logging on to our website at jis.gov.jm or subscribing to our YouTube channel. You can also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's both Android and iOS compatible. So on behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry, reminding you to follow the COVID-19 protocols and keep each other safe during the holidays, as we are all one Jamaica, one family.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.